Hello and welcome to our update here from the Stormtracker 16 studio. After those severe storms moved through central Pennsylvania, wanted to make sure that you were updated on what had occurred. Lots of craziness as we moved through Union and Snyder and Northumberland counties, so I wanted to make sure that you all had those latest updates on what is occurring across the region. Hi, I'm Stormtracker 16 meteorologist Jeremy Lewan, here to give you your latest update there on what we've been seeing across the area. We're still seeing some pretty strong thunderstorms and rainstorms, heavy downpours move through our area right now. I want to show you live radar so you can see it a little bit more clearly. I have this about a 6-hour loop on so that you can really see all the rain that moved through the area. You really see now it's moving through Carbon County, Schuylkill County. Some small hail reported with these storms, and of course the fact that 2 tornadoes touched down earlier today. I want to zoom in real tight there. You can see in that encircled region, take a look at that timestamp, between 4:15 and 5:30 is when we saw those 2 tornadoes touch down, the first of which there in Lewisburg at 4:21 and the second in Exchange, Pennsylvania at 4:48. You can see how strong those storms were, those reds, oranges, even some flashes of pink. Those are some pretty intense downpours, and strong enough, of course, to support a tornado and some small hail as well. Zooming in now on what we're seeing across Schuylkill and Carbon counties, we still have the possibility of a severe thunderstorm in those counties, including Monroe as well. Currently, we see those storms moving through with lots of cloud-to-ground lightning, even some indications of radar-indicated hail. And as it moves through the area, we're going to keep a close eye on them. They're pretty strong, moving there through Jim Thorpe, Lehighton, Pottsville. You're seeing a lot of heavy rain too. Mahanoy City saw some heavy rain. Mount Pocono, it's headed towards you. Stroudsburg as well. We have severe thunderstorm watches in effect from the National Weather Service for those portions of Schuylkill, Carbon, and Monroe counties until 11 o'clock tonight. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on these storms as they move through. Here's a live view right now of Pottsville. You can see all those raindrops on the lens as those storms move through. And here's what it looks like now across the area warning-wise. You see all those warnings have expired, but we did have a severe thunderstorm watch, again, in effect for Schuylkill, Carbon, and Monroe counties through 11 o'clock. And here's where we had those tornado warnings. They're in Northumberland County, Union County, and stretching into Montour County earlier today. We are sure, National Weather Service confirmed there at 4:21 today that a tornado did pass through Lewisburg, just to the north of Lewisburg. You see that tornado icon. That's where we're sure it definitely passed through because there's tornado damage to several buildings in the area there. We're not sure if the tornado, the second tornado that appeared in Exchange, was just a reformation of the first tornado or a completely separate tornado. We're waiting for the National Weather Service to confirm that as it moved through. Here's what it looked like in Milton, Northumberland County there. Zach sent this in. And you can see the tornado moving through. If you look really closely in the background behind that pole, that's where you see that tornado moving through the area there in Milton. And it's going to pass through past that pole, and you'll really be able to see it. You'll also see some flashes. That's as it goes past power lines. When you see green flashes, that's how you know that power lines are being snapped, and you might even, if you take a really close look there, you can see some of the debris flying from that tornado as well. Thank you, Zach, for sending that in. And this is something that meteorologists look at when we're identifying tornadoes. It's something called velocity, the speed at which wind and precipitation is moving toward or away from a radar. That green color is toward a radar, and that red color is away from the radar. So if you look just to the north of Milton, I'm going to pause this so you can see it better. Just to the north of Milton, around 420, well, just now you can see it to the west of Milton. Do you see that green color juxtaposed to that red? That's how you know that wind and precipitation is moving away from portions of the radar, but right to the next side of it, you have precipitation and wind moving towards it. That indicates rotation. It's called gate-to-gate shear here in meteorology, and that's how we understand when a tornado is moving by, and this is how we can confirm radar-wise whether or not a tornado is moving through. So there's that 426 tornado, 421 there in Lewisburg. You see the gate-to-gate shear, the greens and reds right next to each other. And then as we continue through around 5:30, you see those greens and reds continuing to stay right next to each other, indicating that there's rotation within that storm, and that's what produced that tornado. That's the indication there by radar that that tornado occurred. We have lots of storm reports across Pennsylvania, even outside of our viewing area, just south of Philadelphia, southeast and southwest, excuse me, of Philadelphia. They saw tornadoes and also damage reports, but I'm going to zoom in here so you can see that one tornado that moved through Milton that Zach sent a video in of. There it is there, tornado 448 reported West Milton. Train spotter reported that large wedge tornado was on the ground between Grange Hall Road and Route 80 near Milton. And then a second funnel cloud was southeast of the first tornado. And that seems to be a general theme, too, with these tornado reports, that two tornadoes were visible at the same time. I'm going to show you this tornado report just to the east of Bloomsburg in Mifflinville. Reports of two separate funnel cloud circulations, one Red Bank Road and the other on Route 45. Confirmed tornadoes with structural and tree damage. We also have damage reports too. I'm going to pull the screen over near Milton and Lewisburg so you can see those damage reports. Here's one. The roof was ripped off the fireworks building. We have some pictures of that coming up here. And also an RV flipped over, and I have a picture of that also coming up. So lots of storm reports. Lots of tornado reports, and while we talk about tornadoes, I want to make sure you're prepared for the next time this happens, because inevitably we will have tornadoes in our area. So be prepared. If you see a tornado watch issued, that means conditions are favorable for tornadoes to form. If you see a tornado warning issued, that means that that tornado was either spotted by someone or indicated by radar, like I showed you with that velocity mode on our radar system. And of course, the tornado emergency is the most urgent of all. You want to make sure that you take action, of course, to get inside, because severe threat to human life and catastrophic damage could occur. And just a refresher, if you didn't see this earlier in our live show, if you do have a tornado, if you are located in a tornado warning, you want to head towards the basement, because that's the safest place to be in your house. And if you don't have a basement, the lowest level of your home is the most safe place of your house. And if you don't have a low level of your home, then you want to get as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible. You don't want to stay posted up at that window watching the storm, because that puts you and the flying debris outside very close together, and you want to make sure you're safe. So get as close to an interior hallway as you can. And if you don't have an interior hallway, the best thing you can do is go under a table or throw blankets on top of you and put on a helmet to protect your head from flying debris in case your roof does rip off. And again, some tornado safety preparedness. While we're on the topic, here again is your house. Most people's houses, you know, they have a hall in the middle. Sometimes that's the best place to go if you don't have a basement. Stairs too, because it's insulated in that interior, and a bathroom. Sometimes a bathtub. I know it's cliche, you see it in a lot of tornado movies, but sometimes the bathtub is the safest place in your house. And of course, the basement is the best place to stay and shelter during a tornado. We saw a lot of rain from these storms as they moved through. Some of those locations just near Lewisburg. See, that yellow color is over 2 inches of rain. That light green, that's less than 2 inches, but over 1.5 inches. And anything that's not in that blue color is over 1/2 inch of rain. So a lot of us received over 1/2 inch of rain here across central and northeastern Pennsylvania from these storms. So if you didn't see the heavy winds, the tornadoes, or the hail, you definitely saw a lot of those downpours. Here's some of those pictures that I told you were sent in by our viewers. Thank you, Kyle, for sending this. You can see a roof was ripped off of a home there in Union County. In Lewisburg, there's that fireworks store roof was completely ripped off there. Lots of tornado debris damage. And also from Jim in Lewisburg, there's that flipped RV on its side. Mobile homes are very unsafe to be in during a tornado, and if you do find yourself in a tornado warning and in a mobile home, the best thing to do is to get into a stable environment. So leave that mobile home and try to find a bank or some other place that you can go and shelter in that's more stable than your mobile home. And the reason these storms got so severe is because dew points were so high. You can see dew points up in the 70s, and that helped to fuel a lot of the storms with a lot of moisture to be able to reach their severe capacity. But the Storm Prediction Center releases a convective outlook every day, and they didn't even have portions of Union, Snyder County, and Northumberland County that these tornadoes occurred in. They had them listed in the non-severe range. So even this wasn't on the Storm Prediction Center's radar. Although the threat of tornadoes was low today, it did occur. And even if you do see a low threat of tornadoes, they can occur. So I want to make sure you're prepared for that if it does happen again. Some good news, we have lower air quality numbers finally today. Today's the first day we're back in that good category. 47 is our current air quality right here in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre. And we're not dealing with the smoky conditions because a lot of those storms' wind is finally pushing the smoke out of our area. We do have some chances for some rain coming up through the day tomorrow, but I think for our 4th of July, things are going to remain mostly dry. I want to show you future radar so you're just prepared for the days ahead. Those storms are going to move out overnight tonight. We do have a threat for a pop-up thunderstorm there in the overnight hours. So if you do happen to be, out and about in the overnight hours, or if you're not, make sure you have your weather radio on. So if these storms do turn severe, you are able to be informed of it. So we do have the threat of a pop-up shower overnight tonight into tomorrow. I think the majority of Monday is going to remain mostly dry. There could be a scattered pop-up shower through the afternoon hours. And then a lot of the activity either stays north or south of us as far as this model goes. I'm going to be tracking this in the later updates. So make sure you tune in to WNEP2 at 10 o'clock and WNEP at 11 for any updates to our weather forecast here. But right now, I think a lot of that severe thunderstorm activity is going to stay to the north and south of us tomorrow. And then through the evening tomorrow, things will just remain mostly cloudy. Here's a preliminary look at the 4th of July. I can see a lot of moisture in our atmosphere throughout the afternoon hours, so that could maybe support a shower or two. I don't think it's going to support a thunderstorm, but I do think in the evening hours, a lot of that moisture is going to kind of dissolve, and then we're going to have a nice 4th of July evening to be able to enjoy fireworks. If you're going to the PNC Field in Music to see the fireworks, you're down in Wilkes-Barre, I know there's a fireworks show in one of the parks. Definitely nice weather looking ahead for that. So my Independence Day forecast, it's not perfect, but I think it's pretty good. So there's your sparkler forecast. 86 degrees will be our high temperature, and we do have that spot chance for a PM shower, but I don't think it's going to rain on our fireworks forecast. So I think around 9 o'clock, things are looking good, 76 degrees with that full moon still out. So you might be able to see the full moon at the same time as the fireworks. They're both going to be very nice because the full moon's actually a super moon tonight into tomorrow, which means it's a little bit bigger. It's 7% bigger, but that's not really noticeable to the human eye. What is noticeable is the fact that it's about 16% brighter. And if you're going to those fireworks in PNC Field, right after the Rail Riders game, it should be a nice evening. And of course, end this live stream off with something really good. This is Reggie, shot by Amy. I couldn't not include this because he's just too cute, all decked out in his 4th of July gear. And we do have some hot weather coming up for the end of next week. Right now I'm predicting 93 for Friday, which is 9 degrees above average. And it is 5 degrees less than the record high. I don't think record highs are in jeopardy, but I do want you to be aware that we could be having some pretty high temperatures by Wednesday and Thursday. That's what I'm predicting there. And we do have the risk for some more thunderstorms ending off the week next week. So I'll be tracking those as we head towards it. But right now I think 4th of July is looking good. So thank you so much for watching here on our live stream, updating you after those severe storms that moved through central Pennsylvania. Once again, those tornadoes did touch down today earlier, one in Union County, also one in Montour County. And I'll be tracking those thunderstorms as they move through Schuylkill, Carbon, and Monroe counties as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great night.